Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Railroader. It's time for a major update check. So, Railroader just put out a major update a couple days ago? Yeah. I actually have not had the opportunity to really look over it. I haven't had the time to really sit and play anything. When I most certainly don't have the finances to have what you see here before me in my normal game, because I haven't been playing it, haven't had time to play. So we're in sandbox mode, we're not on my normal save, to be able to take a look at what has been added, what has been updated, upgraded, so on and so forth. So we'll just pull up the tab button here. So 2024.3.0 is released, which is we're calling it new engines and customers. Very obviously, the big thing here is 3 new locomotives, as well as a couple new industries along the line. I'm not gonna say I hate it, but on the other hand, I don't think that this was really the needed update right now. I know some people are all like, "Oh, we gotta have content every single update. We gotta have tons of content. We gotta have new content every single time." I'm not one of those. My personal opinion, I think we have plenty in Railroader to really keep one occupied. And this update does not touch the one thing that this game really needed. I kind of feel like they should be focusing on it, but I guess such is life. So I will go ahead and throw this out here right now. If you're watching my video and seeing Railroader's update first, cool beans, you're about to hear this from me. If you've watched everybody else's video, because everybody other than their mother has already put out a video, then this is not news to you. But in this update, there's no new assets as far as your scenery goes. So the towns are still bare, the industries are still bare, the trees are still all identical, the roads still lead to nowhere. There are no people, there are no cars, there's still the one singular truck on the entire map. So the game itself is still just very bare looking. That's just me, but that's kind of part of the reason that I don't get up and play as much as I was, because I kind of burnt myself out. The game gets very repetitive after a bit with nothing new to really look at. I mean, your scenery doesn't change between the towns. You're looking at an empty place like this with the exact same trees. The same exact trees everywhere, with no life at all. My rant's over, though. That's sad. That's just kind of how I feel about this update. Because we all have an opinion. It's like an asshole, you're stuck with it. You don't like my opinion? Shove off. I don't care. If you've been watching my channel for a minute, you know I have my own opinion, and it's going to stay that way. However, there are some good things out of here. So we got new customers at, yes, let's not butcher that, Hewitt and Wesser. They revamped the cheatgrass plant rendering. River and roadbed edges are more natural now. I can definitely see it too. The roadbed looks pretty good overall. I didn't think it looked that bad to begin with. The river, on the other hand, was definitely noticeable, which now it doesn't look half bad. It still is kind of noticeable that it's like a perfect line right here. But that is, I'm sure, more game limitations. It used to be like a perfect razor edge So it definitely looks a little bit better. It just kind of blurs the edges a little bit, makes it look a little more flowing, natural, I guess. Rendering distance, not really an issue for me. My settings have been maxed out every time I played this anyway. This game does not make my computer struggle that bad overall. I mean, I'm sitting at 52 FPS right now, 58. So the rendering distance, mine's always been maxed out. Hasn't really been a thing. As you can see, as you get closer, it will pop in more trees depending on how far away you are. Like we come back here and a fair number of trees de-render. Then you get up closer and they pop back. Not much I can do about that one. Boogity 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 boo. Boogity boo. Anywho, talked about that. 3 new locomotives. We got 3 new locomotives. Now one of these does have me a little bit excited, I won't lie. While I do wish that they had focused a lot more on scenery, this makes me really happy. This is a modernized 440. I do believe it is a Southern Railway prototype. I know a lot of the locomotives in game are based on Southern prototypes, or very loosely based on Southern prototypes. That is kind of, the region, Southern Railway. So I'm assuming that this is one of their products, but this is a modernized 440 with outside Walschaerts valve gear, which is really, really cool. I believe this is Walschaerts valve gear, but yeah, this is really, really cool. It's a very unique thing to see in a train sim. Modernized 440s get overlooked so often. I feel like a lot of sims and train games overlook the fact that this wheel arrangement, once it was introduced, it stayed in practice, in the United States at least, until the very end of Steam. 440s were just the perfect little do-it-all locomotive. And yes, absolutely, we ended up with modernized versions that very much look like their much larger counterparts, with many of those upgraded features. Now, a good many of the modernized 440s still ended up with Stephenson valve gear, so they don't look quite like this. But this is really, really neat. I know it's kind of a dumb thing for me to kind of fawn over, but it's such an odd sight. Personally, it brings to mind the Frisco 440s. Frisco had some pretty decently large 440s later on in life that also had this outside valve gear, which is just a really neat thing to see on a 440. There used to be one in operation at the railroad around Stone Mountain Railroad. There used to be a 440 dressed up like the General, I believe, General 2, Texas 2. That had this same setup. Unfortunately, it's no longer operational, but it's such a neat thing. Such a weird thing to be excited about, I know, but I think it's cool. I think it's a really, really cool little locomotive that, it fits kind of railroader with their more odd choice in locomotives, like that miniature Pacific that we've looked at. Moving on, though, I know what more people are probably excited about: the 210-2, the Santa Fe type. I do believe that this is a heavy USRA type. Very much looks the type. It does have Southern valve gear, though. I don't remember if the Southern ended up with heavies or not. I do know the Southern ended up with some light USRA 210-2s. One of those few times Bachmann gets something right. Those old Spectrum 210-2s are pretty freaking close to a proper prototype of the Southern's 210-2s, but I forget if they owned heavies. either way, I know this is probably what everybody's excited about, because everybody likes huge, giant, massive locomotives. It looks pretty cool. Looks pretty neat. Pretty par for course for the railroaders' designs. Now, I kind of don't care much for the lettering. I would much rather have the road name on the tender rather than the number. I know that has been a voiced opinion a few times around the block. Just my opinion, but yeah, it's pretty neat. And then a 460. Once again, it's got Southern valve gear. I do believe this is based on a Southern prototype as well. Not just because of the valve gear. Southern is not the only railroad to have used Southern valve gear, but I believe I remember seeing an HO brass model of this particular type. Now, we also had a 460 already. Let me see. So the 460 is not really a new idea to the game. However, it is a little bit different. Obviously, it's slightly bigger, a little bit heavier than the T21. So we are in Sandbox mode. I can stick one down for giggles and squiggles, but this is a T21, which is most definitely an Illinois Central design. That painfully obvious cab design. Anybody that knows the story of Casey Jones will know that locomotive design very well. But previously this was the largest, and now this is the larger of the two. As you can see, it weighs a little bit more. I do believe the tender does carry a larger load. Let's see. Or, oh, well. It don't tell me. Oh well. So yeah, there's the 3 new locomotives that we get. Moving on, scroll on down back to here. They did update the models on the C55 and the old wooden caboose, as well as making the old wooden caboose colorable. So let's pop those in. C55. Now, I never ended up with a C55 in my original. Oh goodness, I know that model quite well. That looks oddly familiar. C55, and what else? I guess that would be under, what, miscellaneous? Early wooden, I guess, would be what they mean by old wooden. Alright, old wooden caboose. I would assume that means early, however, just because we are in sandbox mode, so I can throw down a late for giggles and squiggles. Oh goodness. Why does that cab texture, why does that roof texture look so different from everything else? Kinda don't like it. It is different. Like, even these brand new locomotives have a more matching roof. I don't know, maybe it matches with that. Yeah, it's overly shiny. I think this is the caboose they're talking about, though. It definitely, well, the texturing is very noticeably different. It's very noticeably more colorful. I don't know if that's really the term, but you definitely see it. It's definitely noticeable. Boy, what an interesting design. It's actually the first time I am seeing some of these stuff in game, just because I have been playing the hard way and have not ever once touched sandbox mode until now, just because I didn't really want to go through all this and not be able to show you guys what we're looking at. Anyway, added the customers, revamped water and coal consumption. That's a nice thing. I know a lot of us have wanted that for a long while. So your reverser position will your reverser and throttle positions will actually make a difference on what your fuel consumption will be. It's not a huge noticeable difference, but it is noticeable. It does make a difference. Your range will change a little bit depending on what you have your combinations set at, so do keep that in mind. It is a very handy thing. One thing I will note, I'm pretty sure most of the other people have noted, if you have any mods installed, this update's probably going to conflict with those mods, so you may need to reinstall those mods. I know, like right now, the whistle mod is a big one. If you jump straight into the game after the update, the whistle mod will not work. You will need to re-download it, try it again. I don't know if it'll still work right off the bat, but I'm sure there's an update on the way for that. It's one of those lovely things. Added an engine roster window. This is a lovely thing. Pop up the R key, and you can jump over to any of the engines that you own, as well as check out their inspection panels. Perfect for being able to really jump in and play with your orders and whatnot without having to jump all across the map and whatnot. So that's really nice. Performance enhancements, which I assume is for those of you that have managed to get later on in the game and have massive amounts of cars on the map at one time. I haven't had that issue. Compass display at top of screen is now much more accurate and tracks directly with camera rotation. AI now warns when handbrakes are on. That's nice. You have no idea how many times I have set AI and then disappeared for a minute and come back and wondered why in the heck it's not moving, and then found a handbrake set on something. So that's really, really nice. I like that. Added time to console messages. Added percentage graphic to tooltips for equipment loads and fuel loaders. Interesting. Shift click on engine and map view to select. Added add from train button to switch list. Added repair command to repair selected train. Sandbox only. Updated car tag colors. Post exposure and contrast. Fixed Ella trestle abutments. Fixed overhead camera snapping. Fixed AI reading 25-mile-an-hour speed limit near Bryson, East, and Whittier Y. Fixed AI not keeping current speed when enabled to road mode while moving in reverse. Car tag overlay rendering water sometimes. Fixed higher tree density causing trees to appear in places they shouldn't be. Engines consuming coal when there's no water and vice versa. Mines loading too many cars when waiting sleeping. Water hatches more lenient below water columns and towers. And that is that. What's hotfix today? Today? Not today. What's today? Today's the 26th. Oh, it's been a minute. They put out a hotfix on the 26th. Input customization window contents being obscured. And that is it. So, a lot of, I don't want to say minor, but a lot of updates and fixes and whatnot that maybe a lot of you won't notice or might not have noticed until they said something. I know there's a lot of oddballs in here that personally I'd never noticed, but most of you that are looking at this update are probably looking at the first 5 of these ticks. First 5 or 6 of these ticks. So, yeah, we've gone over everything except for the customers. So, where are those customers at? Hewitt and Wesser. and yes, other word. So Hewlett Wesser and Control T. Let's hop on over here. Now, as I said in this update, there's no building, scenery, assets, none of that. So the sidings are now used. These little stickouts now are now used. There's nothing there indicating that they're used, but they are used now. So just, you know, an FYI. We got this that goes off. Boogity 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 boo. Bam bam. Hop on over to Hewlett. Feels weird sitting here in the dead silence, listening to my ears scream at me because my tinnitus is awful. And bam, Wesser. Yeah, there's really nothing to see. They just kind of made these little cutouts used as industries. So yeah, cool, I guess. Let's do with that information what you will. I assume you'll just be able to add them into your active industries. But I kind of don't get why it's a big deal that they're added. There's no scenery whatsoever added. So yeah, I do believe that is it. Hop over here so we can jump back into here. I don't really think there's anything else to go over. I think we've checked it all out. Sound-wise are all the same. As I said, unfortunately, there we go. Unfortunately, you will have to reinstall your mods, like the whistle mod. While they do show up, it doesn't make a difference. They are still select. There we go. As you can see, they are still whatever the original sounds are. And as you can see, chef sounds are still the same. God, that's pretty cool. I like that. Neat. So, anyways, relatively short video. Might be a little bit boring. I know. It's Railroader. A little bit of the luster is worn off, if I'm to be perfectly honest. It's still cool. I mean, cool, we got these, but on the other hand, was it really needed? Yeah. You could really make an argument there. Yeah. So, anywho, a couple new locomotives to play with, a couple new industries to play with. Other than that, not much else really going on here that's crazy, wild, true, and freaky. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.